don't care how many fights I've had. What I saw Death Sentence do in that cage, that wasn't normal. That was some video game shit. I'm not fighting that guy no fucking way. Now that he's teamed up with DJ, I think I'm done. I'm retiring.
What's up, guys? Today we're going to discuss something that's honestly been bothering me for the last couple of years. But in the past couple of weeks, we've had a lot of big fights announced, right? Robert Whittaker versus Rainier de Ritter for Abu Dhabi, right? Great main event, really exciting, really good fight night main event, right? Simple. Then you have Movsar Evloev. Movsar Evloev has announced that he's going to be fighting in July. So on that same card in Abu Dhabi, in the co-main event, presumably, right? Then you have just announced today, or it's rumored, it's not official, but let's be honest, it's official, Peter Yan versus Marcus McGee on that same card. So on that Abu Dhabi card, you have Robert Whittaker, a former world champion, versus one of the most exciting up-and-coming fighters in Rainier de Ritter. You have Movsar Evloev, the number one contender for the UFC featherweight title. He's not even getting a title shot. They're just going to make him fight fucking Aaron Pico, right? So you have the number one ranked guy at featherweight. And then you have Peter Yan, number two ranked, a former world champion, one of the best bantamweights of all time, versus Marcus McGee, number 13 ranked. So you have one guy who's number one ranked, a guy who's number two ranked in their division, and then I don't know what Whittaker's ranked, but I'd imagine he's in the top 5 still. It's crazy. This is all in Abu Dhabi. Mind you, we've had pay-per-views like this year. Dricus du Plessis, Sean Strickland. Co-main event, Tatiana Jean-Willie, fine, right? Decent main and co-main event. But then, Justin Tafa versus Taliesin Teixeira. Unranked fighters on the main card. Gelato Bellotto versus Jimmy Crute. Unranked fighters. Jake Matthews, Francisco Prado. Unranked fighters. You had 3 fights. None of these guys are ranked. This is insane. On the main card. This is absurd. But then the card right before that card, was it Saudi Arabia? No, Saudi Arabia, same thing, right? They're both in the Middle East, right? The point of this video is that they're giving favoritism towards the Middle East because it's not just Saudi Arabia, it's Abu Dhabi and vice versa, right? Israel Adesanya, Nasruddin Imavov, main event of a fight night. Fine, right? It's a great main event, even though Adesanya is a pay-per-view star, but I get it. They would never put that in Kansas City, though. For Kansas City, you get Derek Lewis versus Taliesin Teixeira, but whatever. Co-main event, Shara Magomedov versus Michael Venom Page. An up-and-coming star in Shara Magomedov, a guy who has a bunch of highlight KOs versus Michael Venom Page. The biggest free agent they signed in recent years, right? Sergey Pavlovich's return. I believe this was his return after the Tom Aspinall fight. His return against Jairzinho Rozenstruik, who was on a 3-fight winning streak. Said Nurmagomedov versus Vinicius Oliveira. Another good fight. Fares Ziam, lightweight contender, lightweight prospect. Shamil Gaziev, literally the one of the greatest fighters of all. Like, come on, bro. Again, we can keep looking. We can keep looking. Let's see. UFC, let's go all the way to UFC 315, right? UFC, and look, don't get me wrong. We've had some decent pay-per-views this year on paper. But UFC 315, Bilal Muhammad versus JDM, main event. Great fight. Excellent fight, right? Even on paper, I thought it was an exciting fight. I knew stylistically this would be a good fight. Co-main event, Valentina Shevchenko versus Manon Fiorot. A fight nobody cares for. A fight nobody asks for. Whatever happened to just putting these sort of lower-level title fights in main events of fight nights? They've done that before. They've main evented, they've had champions main event fight nights. Jose Aldo versus Amian Zahabi. What the fuck? Nobody cares about Amian Zahabi, bro. He's 35. Alexa Grasso, now whatever her name is, Natalia Silva. Nobody cares. No one really cares. Benoit Saint-Denis, Kyle Preppa, like, what? Like, even, what are we doing here? What are we doing? But again, they're about to do a fight night in Abu Dhabi with names like Whitaker, the number one contender, Evloev, the number one contender, Peter Yan, one of my favorite fighters of all time, my top 3 favorite fighter of all time, is just thrown on a fight night against Marcus McGee as well. When this, because you know damn well, you look at UFC 317. I don't know if that main card is done or not, but we could actually look at it right now. I don't know if the main card is done, but Ilia Topuria, Charles Oliveira, fantastic main event, right? It's not Makhachev Topuria, but it's still great. Pantoja Kara France, great co-main event. But then it's like Dariush Moicano. Would you guys rather, be honest, would you guys rather see Peter Yan in action? I know it's against Marcus McGee, but Peter Yan is number 2 ranked in the world. Would you rather see him versus Marcus McGee, which stylistically could be a fun fight, or 2 grappling heavy guys, one of them being a wash Benil Dariush, and the other one being a Moicano that just got subbed in a minute against Islam? Would you guys rather see this on the main card? Or Peter Yan, Marcus McGee? Or Evloev, Aaron Pico, the debut of Aaron Pico versus the number 1 contender, Movsar Evloev? Or Whitaker versus not Duplessis, Rainier de Ritter? Fuck, man. And look, I'm not going to sit here, like, I know we complain about sometimes the fight nights are shit. But at the same time, you're going to overly stack these fight nights and then just give us nothing for the pay-per-views? Manel Cap Royval, it's a great fight. It deserves to be on the main card, in my opinion. It is flyweights. It's not, like, the most exciting, I guess, for, like, maybe the casuals. But Costa Roman Kopylov, that's going to be on the main card? Like, again, I don't know if the main card is done yet, but if it is, man, I love Roman Kopylov. I love Paulo Costa. But they're bottom ranked. They're bottom ranked middleweights, number 12 and number 14. They shouldn't be on the main card of a pay-per-view. I'm sorry. Stylistically, it could be a fucking banger, but where's Yuri? Where's you could have Paulo Costa, Roman Kopylov should be in Saudi Arabia, and we should be getting Peter Yan, who's a much bigger star than both of these guys, on this card. Or we should be getting Evloev on one of these cards. It's ridiculous. But no, guess what we get? Over here in America, we get fucking UFC Fight Night, Towson Teixeira versus Mr. I know black, I Dominican, this fucking Dominican looking, what is he, Brazilian, Towson Teixeira. This is the main event of a fight night, a crowded arena, and it's so funny because I haven't even gotten to this point, but American crowds are so much better than those Saudi Arabia, Abu Dhabi crowds. So much better. They actually cheer for fighters. They cheer for knockouts. They cheer for finishes. In Saudi Arabia or in Abu Dhabi, you got a bunch of guys with white towels on their heads and these oil sheiks sitting in the front. Sometimes they walk back and forth. I don't know what they're doing. And then they just, if somebody gets head kick KO'd, they'll just sit there like in silence, in complete silence. They don't care. Remember when Whitaker KO'd Ikram Aliskerov in one of the best KOs of that year, last year? They didn't give a fuck. They kind of cheered a little bit. An American crowd would have been going like, motherfuckers would have had their shirt off. Motherfuckers would have been throwing babies and beer in the air. But no, we have to watch oil sheiks with white towels on their heads freaking sit in silence. Just because, here's $1 million, UFC. As if like the UFC is not making the most money they've ever made. They have the most popularity they've ever had, even though that's dwindling. And it's going to keep dwindling if they keep doing bullshit decisions. It's ridiculous. Jake Matthews, I mean, he's cool, but Calvin Kattar, Steve Garcia, that's a good fight, but it's just, come on, bro. It's not even like that bad of a card, but like Derek Lewis in 2025, bro. In 2025, Derek Lewis, bro. Nobody cares about him. He's not funny. I never thought Derek Lewis was funny. I'm sorry for you Derek Lewis enjoyers. I think he's cringe. Oh, my balls was hot. Ronda Rousey, where you at? It's just not funny. It's just funny because he's a fat black guy, and the way he says certain things sounds funny coming out of his mouth. He's not that funny, to be honest. He's really not that funny. But that it's just ridiculous. But in Abu Dhabi, your main event, Robert Whittaker versus Rainier de Ritter, number 5 ranked. Your co-main event. I forgot about this. This makes it even worse. This is all going to be on the same card. So we're going to get Robert Whittaker versus Rainier de Ritter, Peter Yan versus Marcus McGee, Movsar Evloev versus Aaron Pico, Sharon Magomedov versus Marc-Andre Barriot, Nikita Krylov, number 10 ranked versus Bogdan Guskov, number 8 ranked Asu Amabayev versus Ramzan Tamirov. We have a bunch of ranked fighters on this card. Some guys, we have number 1 ranked Evloev, number 2 ranked Peter Yan. We have Sharon Magomedov. What are we doing here? Why are you overly stacking these cards? Because you know damn well 318 is not going to be stacked. 316, which is next week. Where's 316? Where you at? Where you at, boy? Right here. And don't even get me started on Blanchfield versus fucking Macy Barber. I don't even want to talk about that slop. Let's talk about 316. Merab Sean O'Malley. Fine. Good main event, I guess. No one really asked for it, but whatever. Juliana Pena, Kayla Harrison. It'll be a good fight. It'll be fun. Gastelum Pfeiffer. I mean, they're both unranked. Mario Batista, Patchy Mix. An accident of a fight. This fight was not supposed to happen. It was supposed to be Batista versus Cheeto, which is stylistically awful. Thank God Patchy Mix has stepped in. Honestly. So it makes the card better, but this was not the original plan. And then Vicente Luque, Kevin Holland. This is your main card. This is your main fucking card. We can't get no contenders, no stars, the opening of the card, Evloev versus Aaron Pico. Then we could have freaking I don't know what's his name, Whittaker versus whoever on here, Rainier de Ritter, or Peter Yan versus Market. Dude, Peter Yan could easily be on the same card as Merab and Sean, which makes sense just in case one of them were to pull out, or he could fight the winner of this fight. What is I don't understand. Why are you overly stacking a card in Saudi Arabia or Abu Dhabi, wherever the fuck? Same thing, really. They overstack both of them whenever they're in either of those places. Don't get me wrong, they stack these fight nights up too. And there have been good pay-per-views this year, but Vicente Luque, number 14 ranked, versus an unranked Kevin Holland. Number 10 ranked Mario Batista versus a debuting Patchy Mix. But it's just like, that's not a bad fight, but come on, bro. Unranked Joe Pyfer versus unranked Kelvin Gastelum. And then you have 2 championship fights. The main event no one really wants, and the co-main event's a women's fight. But in Saudi Arabia, you get Robert Whittaker versus Rainier de Ritter with the co-main event of number 1 contender Movsar Evloev and the debut of Aaron Pico. Feature fight, fucking Peter Yan, Marcus McGee. Opening of the card, Sharon Magomedov, Marc-Andre Barriot. Then you get Nikita Krylov versus Bogdan. Listen to these fights. It's like, that sounds like a fucking pay-per-view if you just threw a title fight in the main event. That's a pay-per-view right there. That's insane, guys. It's to me, it's a good enough reason to do this video because they've been doing it for years. We've known they've been doing it for years, but the past couple of years, especially this example, with this recent card coming up in July, it's just insane. It's insane, bro. Like, even if you want to go way back, right? Oh my, get this off the screen, I mean. Even if you want to go way back, let's go back to fucking October of last year, right? This might take a second. October of last year, if you guys remember, what was the main event of that card, right? Let's keep going. Oh my God, come on, right? Here it is. Topuria versus Max Holloway was in Abu Dhabi. Abu Dhabi. 2 guys who have nothing to do with Abu Dhabi. 2 guys who have nothing to do with Saudi Arabia or the Middle East in any way, shape, or form. This fight could have been in America. This fight could have been in Hawaii. This fight could have been in Spain. This fight could have been anywhere. Any Spanish country you can think of. But no. Main event, Ilia Topuria versus Max Holloway. Co-main event, Robert Whittaker, Khamzat Chimaev. Magomed Ankalaev, Alexander Rakic. No one cares, all right? Lerone Murphy, Dan Ige, Sharamagomedov. It's like, come on, bro. But Sharamagomedov, this was before the fraud check against MVP. He was still an up-and-coming contender, you know? So this was exciting. Then you had Lerone Murphy again, another contender, even though he's like 35, against Dan Ige. Ankalaev, he was one fight away from a title shot. He was the number 2 contender, I think, at the time. Whittaker Khamzat, massive fight. A massive fight that they rebooked. Khamzat pulled out. They did Whittaker Ikram Aliskerov. And then they still just rebooked Khamzat Whittaker anyways, just because they needed it for this card. And then Ilya Max Holloway. But then you look at the JDM Bilal card, and it's like, it doesn't even touch a candle to this. It's ridiculous, bro. So, overall, I think it's just greed. I guess it's just greed. I guess they pay the UFC millions of dollars to do shit like this, but I think it's ridiculous. I think it's unfair. I think if you're a UFC fan, especially in America, but even in, like, these European countries, bro, like, they keep going to Saudi Arabia, Abu Dhabi, like, 4 times a year. They never go to any other country. And I get it, they get paid to go, but come on, bro. The UFC has been too long in the game for them to be still this greedy. That card, bro. That Saudi Arabia card, if these rumored fights are true, they're going to have Evloev, Whittaker, Rainier de Ritter, Peter Yan, Sharamagomedov. Listen to the names on one card. Nikita Krylov. All these guys on one card, bro. It's insane. That's a pay-per-view card. If you just throw a title fight in the main event, that's a pay-per-view right there. They don't even stack pay-per-views that much, bro. It's insane, bro. So, hopefully no one in Saudi Arabia or Abu Dhabi tries to behead me for this video. Look, at the end of the day, I don't care. I don't have nothing against those countries. I just have an issue with the way the UFC operates their business when it comes to matchmaking these fights and the unfair treatment that they give to some. Look, again, you saw the Kansas City card, the main event. Towson Teixeira, Derek Lewis. In the year 2025, we're still doing Derek Lewis main events. It's ridiculous. Make sure you guys like and sub. Do you guys agree with anything I said in this video? I think this is a fair sort of thing to rant about because it's just gotten ridiculous at this point. If this card is to be true in July, if this Saudi Arabia, Abu Dhabi card, whichever one it is, I forget. If it's to be believed in July, then this is insane. So see you guys next time. Become a member in the description. I'm slurring my words. I'm so freaking heated, bro. Peace.